record up here, so we have both of them going. And we are off. Okay. All right, everybody, welcome. Hopefully you had a good weekend. We've been speaking about our weekend before I hit the record button. And so if you just joined us, welcome. I can't believe it's turning like fall now. It just feels like fall. All those things are happening. So hopefully you're not getting sick. If you are sick, hopefully you get over it. I knew a couple people that said they weren't feeling too hot over the weekend, so I apologize about that. Hopefully you're feeling better. All right. Oops, I flipped through there before I said what we're doing. Okay, so what we've done, just a recap of what we've done so far. Okay, we've gone over like an introduction to geography, what it's all about. We've gone over North America. We've gone over Central America. Now we're going to head to South America. Okay. South America is a really cool area, and we're going to learn a lot of things. This was kind of recap of what we're going to kind of learn as we go through these modules and you go through the lessons with me here. Okay, so first it kind of starts off where South America really is at. Okay, so it's north, or I guess it's south of where we are, right? So if you just keep heading south, you'd end up in South America. As you kind of follow the land down, you have the little isthmus is what it's called that connects, where you have like Panama that we learned about in Central America. You just have this country, or this continent right here. Okay. As you can kind of see, there's quite a few countries that's over here. As we look at kind of these are different maps, right, that we're going through. So going from left to right, where my little pointer finger is, this is what's called a geographical map. And so this map basically shows like water features, like you can see the Amazon River running through here and where it starts out. We have the Andes Mountains. We talked about the Ring of Fire and why there's so many big mountains over there. And so it kind of goes down through here, Peru, Chile, that kind of area. And then you also have other area where it's kind of like mountainous, and they actually raise a lot of cattle over there. And then you also have the wonderful Amazon rainforest, which takes up a lot of it. So over here, this is called a political map, the middle one. That just basically shows all the countries that are in South America. So you have like Brazil, Peru. Somebody says my grandma's from Peru. That's cool. Maybe have a little bit of connection with South America. I have my cousin married a lady from Chile, right? I know quite a few people from Argentina, Brazil. I know quite a few people that have been to Brazil, kind of there. So I think a lot of people know a lot about these South American countries. And then the last map over here, all the way to our far right, is where it's located on the Earth. As you can kind of see right here, you have North America to the north, and then South America down there, and then Antarctica at the bottom, which really isn't too far away from the very end of that area. Okay, so this kind of tells a little bit about it. Maybe I'll ask, does anybody want to read? Raise your hand if you want to possibly read this little paragraph here. Do I have anybody? Okay, Samantha, you're the first one. All right, let me get your microphone rights to you. And if you can get that microphone off and you're ready to go, I will let you speak. You don't know if it will let you? Okay, because I gave you microphone rights. You'd have to like get your audio all up and ready. We can actually do this probably some other time as well. Oh, it is ready? Okay, well, push the talk button down there. I'm going to stop my talk, and then you push it and see if it'll work.
components that help make up the very diverse continent of South America. The countries of South America vary in their histories, cultures, economies, industries, and standards of living. South America has nearly every type of climate, from dry deserts to lush rainforests, and a variety of fascinating cultures and cities, from the modern capital Brasilia to the ancient ruins of Machu Picchu.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, Samantha. Appreciate it. Yeah, that worked out well. I'm glad we were able to do that. Uh, so through here, we'll be able to give some, you know, if somebody wants to jump on the mic at some point in time and read some stuff, we can definitely do that. So hopefully everybody heard Samantha there with what a little bit of South America is. So I'm going to have you open up your polling tools real quick. So what I'm going to have you do is, the question is I'm going to be asking is, which country is the largest in South America? Okay, is it A, Argentina, B, Chile, C, Peru, or D, Brazil? Which one do you think the largest country is? All right, I got a whole bunch here, and most of you put the same thing, right? And you are all correct, okay? The correct answer is Brazil, okay? And so hopefully you saw that from the little political map that was thrown up there not too long ago. In green over here, you can see it takes in the largest area, okay? A lot of the eastern coast of Brazil, as well as the rainforest. Some of it's not very habitable because of that. Yeah, I think it'd be a really cool place to see as well, Abby. Brazil for sure. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's kind of go down a little bit of the countries. We have, oh, somebody mentioned, do we have a quiz to complete today? Yes, right. We have quizzes every Monday and every Tuesday you'll have to complete. So if you go to the course home, you'll be able to see that. Okay, the countries that make up South America, we have Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador. I can't say this one very well. Guyana, Paraguay, Peru, Suriname. Sorry, I'm not the best like pronunciator. Uruguay and Venezuela. So the ones I couldn't say are the very like small ones that are kind of like, you know, um, so let's jump to the next one. Okay, let's talk about. So it was mentioned that little paragraph that was read by Samantha. It talked a little bit about the Inca Empire, and that is basically the ancient people that live there. So the Native Americans that live there. So we already talked about the Mayan population, right, of Central America. Now it's the Incas of there. So one of their people, and they were saying that their goal, somebody's goal is to go to, one of the things, go to Monte Pijio. But Monte Pijio is up in the high areas of the Andes Mountains, okay? And that's a little picture of it right here. It's this beautiful city that's up there, and you kind of think, like, how did they make it all the way up there? It's super, super high up, okay? So let's talk a little bit about the Inca Empire. So the Incas lived in the Andes Mountains. They were the largest civilization pre-Columbus. So before Columbus came over, they were the largest civilization. Something that was interesting as well, they had a formal government. So just like the United States, they had a government where things were kept orderly, right? If you don't have a government, there's not a lot of order and people. There's a lot of crimes, that kind of stuff. They believe the civilization lasted between 1200 and 1535 AD. The Inca population lived in the South Americas and extended from the equator to the Pacific coast of Chile. Unlike the Mayan civilization of Central America, the Incas and their legacy is very much prevalent throughout most of South America. So I know a friend of mine, it's actually my nephew. My nephew went to Uruguay, which is right there in that population, and he says that there are so many just kind of not native of the Incas, but they are part of that kind of lineage, right? Kind of passed down. If they didn't trail out switchbacks, I'm going to say price. Yeah, so they have a whole bunch of like switchbacks they have to do to go up and make it to these things. So it's quite a hike to get up to Monte Piju. So, all right, let's talk about a little bit about South America too, because South America, like Central America, they have a little bit of the same economy. They don't have a strong economy like the United States, right? So as you can kind of see over here, you have this this area of like where people live, right? And their people, they're just stacked one on one top of one another. That's how they live. There's not a lot of building regulations, so especially when there may be earthquakes or something like that, natural disasters, it's a big problem because these buildings just crumble, right? There's not any kind of regulations there. But if somebody else wants to maybe read about the current economy, I'll have you do that. So if you want to raise your hand, first one to raise their hand that wants to do it. If not, I'll read it. Anybody? Okay, I guess nobody wants to read. That's okay. All right, so if nobody wants to read, I will just read it real quick. It says, although 1/3 of the continent practices subsistence farming. Okay, so subsistence farming is basically being able to provide for yourself, right? Most of the citizens of South America are concentrated around the capital cities of most countries, okay, like Sao Paulo, Brazil. Although the capital of Brazil, Brasilia, has many inhabitants, Sao Paulo is considered to be one of the largest metropolitan areas in the world. In every country in South America, many of the rural poor have flocked to the urban areas, so they basically went from farming to the city in search of employment because unemployment is so high, and there's a lot amount of poor in these countries. Okay, as you can kind of see from the way there's things that, of course, every area has like really nice areas with big houses, that kind of stuff, but there's a lot of areas that are severely poor. So I want to kind of show you. You probably have seen this. Maybe you saw the movie like Rio about that bird. I don't even think I saw the whole movie through. But you know, that's talking about Sao Paulo, Brazil. It's one of the biggest locations there, and so it has this this famous statue. I believe it is of Jesus Christ, is what it's depicting. But here's a famous statue they have in that area, and most of them are Catholic in that area, as religion-wise. The bird Rio is based off is extinct, I think. Well, yeah. So I knew a little bit about it, but the show never I never really got into the show, so I was kind of like, no, it was good. But some people really like the show. But there's some areas that are very modern in Sao Paulo and would remind you of a lot of like an American city that you would kind of see. Okay, so that is a little bit, a couple pictures of Sao Paulo. Okay, we're going to do another poll question here, okay? So get your poll ready. It says, what is the longest river in the world? Okay, would it be A, the Nile River, B, the Congo, C, the Amazon, or D, the Mississippi? Now, there's a debate out there about it. So, why don't you get your questions now, okay? So yep, and you guys are starting to get split just on whatever people believe, right? All right, I think that's good. So we have quite a few. So we're split between the Nile and the Amazon. Okay, and so I'm going to say it's the Amazon, but other people will tell you it's the Nile. So either answer is kind of really correct because you don't really know. They can't really measure it that well, right? Because the Amazon River has its snakes, like back and forth, back and forth. The Nile is a lot straighter than it. And everybody hopefully knows where the Nile is. Kind of goes through Egypt, that area. But the Amazon River, and I'll show you. Oh yeah, good thing I moved to this picture right here. As you can kind of see this picture to the left here, you can see how it just kind of snakes through here. And so as it's kind of like running through there, it makes a bigger distance. So people believe that the Amazon is probably longer, even though from like point A to point B, it might be smaller than the Nile. But the Amazon is made for like many, many different things. It's so many resources. Somebody says that that's cool. They're both the same length. Yeah, I have no idea if they're the same length, but yeah, there's a huge debate on whether it is. The Amazon is so deadly but pretty. Yeah, so there's like a lot of different things that you can find. There's a lot of animal life in the rainforest, and that's something we kind of talk about, and we get a lot of things through there. So we have these little pictures of this guy right here. He's kind of cutting into a tree, and you kind of see a little drip right there. Does anybody know what they're getting out of that tree? Any thoughts? Okay, that's good. Good thought. Kind of so okay, awesome. We had it right there. So actually it's what they make rubber out of. Yeah. So very good. So basically they get to make pure rubber. So our tires, like on our cars, they're made of like a synthetic rubber. But for like semis and airplanes, they actually need like the real rubber substance. And the only place they can find that in the tire world is in the Amazon. Okay? And they get it from all the trees there. So that's one of the reasons why a lot of people want to protect the rainforest is we just get so many different things from there that we cannot find anywhere else. So it's very important to our life, I guess our way of life, getting these different things from the Amazon River. And everybody said it's pretty, but it is deadly. There's a lot of things that can happen while you're on the Amazon River, and a lot of animals, but it's kind of cool. Yeah, so protect the rainforest, guys and girls. Okay, yeah. I think it's good to have it out there, to be able to have those resources available to us. All right, Kate. So that leads us to the very end. Here is your exit ticket right here. I will put that in the chat for you. Where'd you go? I did not want that to come up. There it is. And that will be it. I do have some private chats I'll get to in just a second. But if you have any other questions, please feel free to ask me. But I'll stop the recording right here, and then stay around to answer questions.